recently started a new campaign as DM. We're all relatively new to D&D, though I've played before but never as DM, which means some severe noob moments. In our campaign, we have a rogue, Kai, a dragonborn warlock, Levi, a noble rogue, Elwyn, and a magic scissors girl, Primrose. She's also a rogue. You can tell this is obviously not the most balanced group, but hey, they made it work. They started off in a town. The town was deserted, but they quickly found out that everyone had gotten sick from this new fish they found and ate. It was the group's job to find out how it all started and find the cure. The first monster they find is an ooze in a rusty helmet with fish bones inside. This is important. I modified the ooze to be a sea-based ooze and relatively low level. It's fairly similar to an ochre jelly ooze if you want to look it up. Since it was in a helmet, the defense were obviously high. I made it to where the helmet would break with 2 hits from the magic scissors, or the ooze would be scared and run out of the helmet if the helmet gets excessively hot, since it's a water-based creature. The ooze hasn't spotted them, and so Elwyn decided to run at it with his short sword. He was able to break the glass in the helmet, but in the process, his short sword was slightly damaged. The ooze was startled from the surprise attack, and so that gave them the upper hand. Levi went next. Remember how I said the ooze would leave the helmet if the helmet got hot? Levi, being a dragonborn warlock, is proficient in everything fire-related, completely decked out with as many fire spells a level 1 could have, and the ability to breathe fire. I thought that since Levi was going next, the fight was going to be really short since fire against water, but nope. Instead of using their fire spells, they decided to try and sing it to sleep. They rolled a nat 20, which would be perfect except the ooze is amused to being charmed. They didn't do a check on the enemy at all. They checked what was under the helmet instead. So the ooze couldn't be charmed to go to sleep. After we all laughed about how ridiculous that plan was, we got back to the game. Next up was Kai. Kai decided to shoot the helmet with his longbow. At first, when I heard this, I thought it was so stupid. I mean, did you not just see what happened to Elwyn's short sword? Nevertheless, he rolled a nat 20 and did some damage. Primrose decided to try and slash the helmet open with her scissors, and being as far as there's been 3 nat 20s, there was one beforehand, I thought maybe the group was really lucky today and this first fight would be easy. Nope. Primrose got a 4, ultimately ending up with her scissors slipping and falling. Elwyn then decided to go at it with his short sword again. They still hadn't checked out the full stats of the enemy at this point. Needless to say, his short sword broke in half. Still repairable if he brings it to a really good blacksmith. The session ended here, since it was time for school. We play every morning. The next day, Levi had learned from his mistakes and decided to burn the helmet. It scared the ooze out and did some damage. The ooze spit out a pool of acid that can burn skin, and some of it got on Elwyn since he was the closest. Kai decided to use a spell. I evened out the campaign a bit to allow Kai to do very minor healing spells. To heal Elwyn, and Elwyn, having his hand still covered in acid, only got 1 hit point back. Primrose had gotten up and charged the ooze, ready to slash it with some magical butt-kicking powers, but she fell once again, this time getting sand in her eyes. The fight was relatively boring after this, and they ended up defeating the ooze, leaving a pile of fish bones in acid, So, how exactly was this ragtag group of rogues plus one warlock getting the bones? They decided to basically treat it like a crane game, having Levy pick up Primrose and grab the fish bones with her magical scissors ever so delicately. Kai had remembered that it was covered in acid and they should wash it off, so Levy, wanting to be helpful, decided to try and burn the acid off. They're in a place called Harbor City. They have a vast ocean at their disposal and countless houses with running water for them to wash these bones off in, but they all agreed burning the acid off was the best idea. At the end of the session, they were left with everyone having burnt hands from the poison. Primrose has sand in her eyes. Elrin, Kai, and Levi all forgot their reading glasses at home, making their perception bad, and a pile of burnt fishbone ashes. The next session, I'm forcing them to dumpster dive for some new bones. Tildir. Noob campaign tries burning acid off fish bones, a key component to the story, ending with all of them being crippled in perception and a pile of ashes.